Hey everyone, welcome to Quick Serve, brought to you by insert cricket noise. Nobody. We should get a sales team.
We have some spots open through the semifinals and finals quick serves if anybody's interested.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We should have sold those.
Yeah.
Anyways, for you it's better because you don't have to listen to it. But guys, I'm salty today. I'm a little salty. I got to be honest.
What are you salty about?
So I spent my day watching the pinnacle of our sport, right? Number one player in the world. The most accomplished player of all time. Bencic, her story, the way that she was, Swiatek, 5-time winner, figuring out her worst surface and coming through. And then I watched this bullshit Ackman match at the Hall of Fame, which I have so many thoughts about. And
this is the Jack Sock, Bill Ackman doubles match.
Everyone in the bag, all four on the court.
Technically an ATP Challenger event at the Hall of Fame.
I don't want to ruin the Wimbledon part of this up front, but we should spend a second on it at the end.
Yeah, let's do it at the end.
Yeah. I'll tell you, we'll start with Swiatek. If you would have told, I know we're victims of the moment. We live in this thing and it's real for us. Someone tells you at the beginning of the year, she goes 0 on clay. Hasn't won a tournament since the French Open last year. And then somehow the tournament that could potentially turn the entire year around is Wimbledon. This is why we love tennis. It's unbelievable, and yet we're seeing it all at the same time. I love the way she's playing. I love the way that she's returning. This was a great example of a lot of times when we talk about tennis, it's like Samsonova, right? She's great. I really enjoy watching her play. Great serve, good forehand. But when a lot of people are they just go good forehand, bad backhand, right? And that's the simplest thing. And people are like, well, she's missing a forehand. She was making it earlier, or whatever it may be. It goes so much deeper than that simple kind of analysis, right? Samsonova, when she's fading to her left and has time on the forehand, she has an unbelievable forehand, right? Iga knows that. If we know it, she knows it. When she goes to her right and is forced to go there, all over the place. All over the place. It's not just good forehand, good backhand. It's the spots on the court where you feed given shots, right? Fed might have the best one-handed backhand of all time, and then Rafa comes in and can access above his shoulder, and it's just not as simple. And the chess matches, you have to know what to do, and then you have to be able to execute it. Iga Swiatek played great, but strategically, 10 out of 10. Match. When she could, she bullied to the right on the Samsonova forehand, got her fishing, kept her out of the center of the court enough where she was kind of the momentum was going a little bit left. Samsonova hits a forehand so well, right? Controlling the middle of the court, firming it up from the middle, not letting her get left, letting her get set. From a set position, she likes kind of hooking the ball to Iga's forehand. When she's fading a little bit, she hits it flat and hits that off forehand, or has the ability to hit both. Iga knew it, picked it apart, and it was not fun to watch Samsonova get beat. It was fun to watch a tactician know it and execute it, especially on a surface that has largely been a challenge for her. I don't know that it's a challenge any further. I said last week she's in this thing to win it, and no updates. She's in this thing to win it. She could win this tennis tournament. I think she's a huge favorite. Not a huge favorite, but I think she's a significant favorite against Bencic, who, by the way, how good is she? She played phenomenally, right? On the front foot the entire time, attacked the Andreeva forehand, lost some match points. She said just casually, I cracked a toenail. With 2 games left.
Is that what it was when she was limping around?
Cracked a toenail in half, split it, and just finished the match. 3, the trainer came out. She was about to, close the match out. She said, I would have done the same thing. Like, no, I'm not slowing this down now. I actually have the momentum. But gets rid of those, loses those couple match points and comes back, plays a great tiebreaker. She's made one semifinal in her career in a Grand Slam. Comes back exactly a year ago after giving birth, and I think it was April of last year. And now in her first Wimbledon semifinal. Like, it's just, tennis is so cool. It's just the coolest, which is why I'm so passionate about it. When we'll get to that.
We'll get to that later.
It was great. I think Bencic is a great story. I think the second serve to Iga is going to come in a little soft. The first serve, I think, is going to come in a little soft. I think Bencic has to up the risk profile. Iga's returning great. Forehand side, backhand side. She cleaned 5 or 6 return winners today off of first serves. Like, she's playing great, and she's seeing the ball huge, and she's going to be able to kind of bully Bencic to her forehand side a little bit more. Bencic is really good at setting up in the middle of the court. And if you watch her, all you chuckers, she's so good at setting that outside foot and then pushing off of it forward. Like, it's almost an exaggerated move to make sure she's always kind of forward on the shots. That's why her transition game is so great. And she's able to kind of flow through, cut the court. But the footwork from the outside leg, old coach of mine, Rick Macy, used to teach that on the forehand, a coach of King Richard, right? The main coach in that, where Venus and Serena went. Always set and always wanted to teach approach shots off that outside foot. Bencic does it phenomenally well. It's really fun to watch. I just think Iga's going to be able to bleed her where she can't actually set that pacing up and set that footwork up. But it's just been absolutely phenomenal to watch her kind of switch it.
Can I ask you before you move on from that, what did she do to Mira, to frustrate her, and what did you see from Mira? She
returned great. Whenever she was hitting a slow serve, she hit it to the side on the return with Andreeva. She has a harder time creating pace, Mira, on the forehand side and the backhand side. So when she was throwing those kind of soft rollers or first serves, she was making sure it went to the forehand side. When she was attacking, it was at the forehand side. So you saw Andreeva kind of go into that chip a bunch. So it's when she was trying to get away with maybe the weak spots of her game, it was to the side that maybe doesn't have knockout power yet. And then when she got her ball, she was distributing kind of equally, right? But her awareness of where Andreeva was and where Andreeva could hurt her on a given shot, I thought was clear as day. And she just executed. She didn't miss random balls. She wasn't starting games love 30 because she dumped, a couple shots in the net or was nervy. Even the match points that she let go. I mean, one of them was like I'm guessing it was like a 16-ball rally where she had Andreeva chipping like 4 times. It was a quality point. Like, that's one where the old Jimmy Connors, when he told me operation successful, sometimes the patient dies, it died on that one, but like, she did everything she could. And it was a great story. And afterwards, her interview, she's so damn likable.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you could just feel the joy. She's able to express it and articulate it. And it was just fantastic. I'm so happy for her. I'm happy for the story. Just really phenomenal stuff. Novak, it's just, if you make the sample size small enough, right, you can tell any story, right? And if that's 6-1, Demon takes the first set. If it's Kaboli winning that first set, Novak isn't going anywhere, right? He goes, no, we're gonna tell the true story because the sample size is large. I can lose first round and Indian Wells and Madrid and all of these other places. If we extend the sample size to 3 out of 5 sets and we extend the sample size to 2 weeks, and I'm playing, he was up, close to the going into the 4th set. I think he was up plus 14 winners to airs. Like, that's a tough one. Like, if you're Kaboli, that, and okay, I won the first set. And then your mind, you got to get over that, the elation really quickly, because you're going, can I keep this up for minimum another hour and a half? It's a tough one. That's where Novak, like, mentally, physically, he just plays, there's no real loose shots. Even when he does, he's able to come back right away. You can tell when he's not happy with something. He knows it. But then his ability to switch directions, put you off without losing any margin. It's a hard thing to explain because, we've talked about this before, but like what Rafa, his RPMs and his ball speed, you can see it on TV, right? What Novak does is just constantly makes you attack from the toughest position to attack from. Doesn't mean you can't. it just makes it the most difficult version of that attack possible for 4 hours. Miserable. It's like getting kicked in the nuts for 4 hours. Like, it's just brutal. Like, it's just so impressive. And in the way that he's adjusting, knowing that he's not as quick out of the corners as he was 7 years ago, right? And so the shots he's playing to kind of avoid that, he's not letting it hang as much. He's playing against movement. It's just really fun to watch. Like, it's just, he's a master. He's perfected his craft. And now, is someone bigger, stronger, younger? Sure. But it's like, I don't know. Like, it's just really fun to watch his craft at work. The way he hits second serves, he barely hits a kick serve anymore, right? Because he doesn't want that set. It just, the way that he's navigating things in real time, even with the movement, that's still better than most of us ever moved in our lives, right?
I mean, when he did the splits with a couple, I mean, I was just like, God.
It's not to say he doesn't move well. It's just, you're judging him against a shadow of someone who's won 24 majors.
Yeah, it was incredible.
And it's not, this version versus the peak version, whatever that is. You have 12 years to choose from. And we're just, fighting for no reason. But like, it's just really fun to watch him navigate the reality of what is, and then the craft that he's able to apply to create the best version of himself at this age. It's just really fun to watch. It's just, and you're watching it and you're going, I hope people appreciate what they're seeing with where he's putting the ball flight, the decisions he's making, when he's pulling the trigger, when he's not. He will have to go bigger on the forehand side against Jannik Sinner, where he can kind of play cat and mouse with, Kaboli or, Demon or whoever else. And those guys are great players. Sinner will knock your head off. Like, you have to he's going to have to go a little bit bigger on the forehand side. And, he's beyond capable of doing it. He just hasn't had to yet. Why isn't he going bigger on the forehand?
Because he hasn't needed to. Because
he hasn't had to bring on that risk. Like, why? That's like saying, why wouldn't you bet more at the blackjack table? Like, if you're just if you have a system, I don't know. It's going to be exciting. Sinner looked really well today. He had all the ball control that he hasn't had thus far at Wimbledon, right? I said it even when I watched him. He's like, I was blown away the first 3 shots I heard because it sounded like an explosion. And also, he was missing some sloppy shots. Today, he was pretty airtight, right? He was just, it was pretty straightforward. He'd get into the rally neutral, and then he was just, attacking Ben's backhand. And he just, and not even like opening it up to go to the other side. Nope. If you're gonna beat me, it's gonna be with your serve, and you're gonna have to beat me with your return and your backhand at some point in this match, which is hard. It's a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup for Ben, but Ben had a great event. Like, he had a fantastic event. One adjustment that I'd like to see against the great returners like a Sinner or Novak, if you're a Ben Shelton, you have to understand when it's this lefty serve, he has maybe the most action on his second serve of anyone in the game, right? It's like a curveball that goes from 12 to 6 or 6 to, it's just crazy the movement that he's able to get on it. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of every time a second, or not every time, because you can't do something every time, but a lot of the time, I would have wanted to see the kick serve from on the deuce side start on Sinner's backhand and kick towards the forehand. I would have wanted my second serve crossing Sinner's body a lot more. I think if I was Ben. And then you mix that up with the threat of going 120 on a second serve down to 87. Right. I just think, a wide serve to Sinner on a second serve, if it starts on his left and he's moving left, he's going to be able to track it and see it. And you're not going to get that like T-Rex effect where he gets caught. Right. And also on the ad side, if you hit that kind of cutter, and this is really hard to do, by the way, we're talking about fitting it into a pocket of a foot. Right. So like chuckers can't do this. This isn't advice for someone at their club tournament or someone pretending to be a pro tennis player for a day.
What?
What?
That happened today?
Huh?
Oh, that did happen today?
Yeah, it was like Comic-Con, but like tennis.
Anyways.
On the ad side, if you're going to hit a slice serve, I wanted to start on Sinner's forehand side and then kind of work its way, hopefully, to the backhand side. Because he can't really, if you're moving against it and the ball's moving this way, you have to almost pull it to Ben's forehand. you can't let Sinner lay that down to your backhand on the first ball, get neutral. Neutral's actually behind. I've talked about this with my matchup with Roger. Like when we were neutral, if he neutralized my serve, neutral for him is behind for me, right? Because he's more skilled from the baseline. But I mean, those are the kind of the micro details that are impossible to execute that you nitpick at when you're at the level of Shelton and Sinner. But people need to understand that, like, it's not just serve to the backhand. No. Start it here, mix it. I mean, there's so much that goes into this. Cue the beautiful mind meme or the Zach Galifianakis version of it. But I mean, it was pretty fun to watch. All in, and we got some good matchups coming up. Sabalenka and Anisimova. Curious what the odds are on that one. Let's call our research department.
Right now, Sabalenka, according to the Wimbledon website, has a 62% chance of winning.
Yeah, but I want to know what the betting odds are.
You want the real betting odds?
Yeah.
If only we had a betting sponsor.
Or a show about betting.
Interesting. Would anybody like to see that?
Maybe we could get that sponsored.
A betting sponsor would be great.
That'd be good. Cue the comments. They're going to hate that. I don't know what the odds are, but if you're looking at like a 3-4 to 1, Anisimova's in with a shot. She's got a puncher's chance for sure. She can create speed through the middle of the court. This service is going to do her some favors. Now, the moment and everything else, we'll see. But this is the opposite matchup for Sabalenka that it was against Laura Sigmund. But I think I like Anisimova's chances maybe more than Bencic just based on matchups. And I'm sure I'll be wrong about everything, but Anisimova is one of the few players that can beat Sabalenka sometimes with speed. It's going to depend on Anisimova's serve. If she's landing first serves and winning free points and able to defend her second, then she's in this thing with a chance. Now, and that's before it's hard to analyze how she's going to feel in the moment and the whole thing. That's a tough one to predict, but I like that. I still love the way Ika is playing. I like her in that semifinal matchup. I've chosen Novak through to the Wimbledon final.
Yep.
Sinner looked pretty good today.
Yeah, and he said his elbow was feeling good on the desk afterwards. Just obviously he's going to say that, but there was nothing to refute that.
You can't lie to a radar gun.
Yeah.
And the radar gun was kind of there. Like I was texting with Eubanks and I was on the phone with Eubanks, just, kind of checking in. And he's like, how does it feel? I'm like, well, the radar gun seems to think his elbow's okay. He's still pumping first serves and he's still getting action on a second serve. So I'm sure there's something there. He fell on, we talked about the other day, if it's a tendon or a tear or something, it's not just sore. It's electric guitar strings when you hit the ball. Like it screams at you. It's like what we saw with Grigor. But it'll be interesting. Also kind of curious if Novak, he's watching the match with Dimitrov. I wonder if he kind of implements that slice at all based on what he saw. Now it's not if I had Novak's two-hander, I probably wouldn't slice very much. I sliced a lot because my two-hander sucked. Right. So it's different, but I don't know if there's some way to kind of squeeze that in. Cause he was watching that and Grigor was using it to a lot of effect, but he was using it to kind of, knife it, come in. That's not Novak's game. So I'm curious to see what the offset is between I have the best two-hander of all time and this was also effective for someone else. And do we take it out for a spin? I don't know. I defer. I normally have opinions about things, but I certainly am not going to ever second guess the way Novak chooses to go about a match. He might not win it, but it ain't because of strategy. I promise you that. Alcaraz, Fritz. I'm curious to see what Fritz does to take Alcaraz out of rhythm, right? Fritz is very good at his kind of main skill set. Striking the ball. He's not going to go small. I promise you that. He cannot get into these prolonged rallies where Alcaraz is chipping, drop shotting. I think he has to go a little bit bigger on the second serve, run some into the body, mix up paces. The radar gun needs to look a lot different on a second serve sometimes. I'm curious to see if he tries to force his way in. It's not natural for him. And I'm curious to see how much cat and mouse Alcaraz plays versus wanting to go toe to toe. Alcaraz, I don't think likes when someone goes bigger than him.
Interesting.
But his variety is going to be his superpower in this matchup. His ability to chip line, have the ball going away from Taylor. He doesn't want Taylor to have that little kind of bunny step left and then just crank, right? Curious to see if he goes big on first serves or wants to protect the second serve return from Taylor Fritz. So I think that's the big question if you're Anna Cohn and Mike Russell is what are we going to do to disrupt kind of that rhythmic flow of variety that comes off of Carlos Alcaraz. Chose Novak and Alcaraz before the tournament. Let's see how it goes. And now I'm just...
That's good tennis.
I don't know, man. Like
tennis fans are winners no matter what happens over the next few days with these matchups.
Yes, with these matchups for sure. So I was clicking between the most accomplished player of all time and then a match where it looked like 4 players were in the bag. Bill Ackman, who's been a massive tennis fan, supporter, funds the PTPA, does the whole thing, wanted to play a pro tournament. So, there was obviously some exchange of something. Like you don't give a wild card to someone who 50 players at my club are better than.
He's 59 years old. Right?
Yeah. It's just the point, and I'm on committees for the Hall of Fame. I'm honored to be part of the Hall of Fame. I have great relationships with people at the Hall of Fame. And also you can disagree with people that you have a good relationship with. This was a total miss. Now, the job of the Hall of Fame is to preserve and celebrate excellence in our sport. This was the biggest joke I've ever watched in professional tennis. All 4, even Tomic was he'd have a sitter. He was serving 50 miles an hour to someone. He'd have a sitter and he would play it softly. Like if there is any sort of review process in tennis, like it's weird to take a look at someone when, but if the letter of the law is I remember Kyrgios got fined for tanking one year because it's like, if it's obviously less than your best effort, apparently that qualifies. This match is going to be under review. It has to be.
Well, it's important to say it was a sanctioned match.
It's not a pro
ATP Tour Challenger.
It's a challenger.
Like this is for the purpose of the tour. This is an event that gives players an opportunity to get better and rise in the rankings.
Make a living.
And make a living.
There was exactly one person on that court trying as hard as they could. One person trying as hard as they could. And if you want to argue with me, go back and watch that video, and you can't tell me that there was more than one person trying as hard as they could every point or any point. It was a disaster. Now, I can't tell people you can make your own decisions, and I'm sure sponsors are tough for challengers. I get it. This was beneath the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. And it's nothing, it's nothing personal against Bill Ackman. He can do what he wants. If his dream was to do it and someone's going to let him do it.
I just don't get why
it's not his fault. I don't blame him, right? Someone has to say yes to this. Someone has to say yes to this. It was rough. And there's just no chance that Jack comes out and he doesn't play tennis anymore, and all of a sudden he's motivated to go play a challenger out of the good of his heart.
Like why wasn't it the Bloomfield Hills Challenger event?
It's just
that's this month.
That's the thing where it's like
or Lexington.
That's the thing that's kind of breaking my heart a little bit.
It's the Hall of Fame.
It's the
portion.
Hall of Fame. Like, we all try to help and serve on committees and do all this stuff to promote excellence in our sport, and it's under the same brand of this thing that I saw today. And it sucks. And we're going to be there. And we're going to go do our best possible effort for our show live from the Hall of Fame because I honor the venue. I will not honor this decision. Honor the venue. 2 of my great friends are getting in. I have the utmost respect for Maria Sharapova. You want to show up and celebrate those champions. And also, this was it was hard to watch. It was, I came in here hot today. Like, it's just.
Yeah, you're much more calm now.
I was pissed.
You were pretty pissed.
It was beneath the Hall of Fame. I love the Hall of Fame
so much. That's what you're the most upset about. I like want people to understand that the most.
Yeah.
Because the place is so special to you as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And it should be hallowed grounds.
Yeah. Right? And I've sent an email. I'd love an explanation. And if I get an explanation and there's something that I'm completely missing, then I'll come on the show and eat shit. I have no you all know I have no problem admitting I'm wrong if presented with facts. My opinion isn't my opinion forever on anything when presented with facts that dispute it.
Yeah.
I don't know what could possibly be said to make me feel differently about this. And maybe 50% of you are like, fuck it. It has nothing to do with you. Or, whatever else it might be. And you can think whatever you want. I'm just telling you the way that I feel about it. And even if you do it and you let this happen and you funded and this is all hypothetical. I know nothing, just so we're clear, but there's just no chance this, like what I saw, just happened without something. But the other players, they still have to show up and play like professionals. It was pathetic. It was pathetic.
Yeah. The
least pathetic part about it was Bill Ackman's effort on the court. Like, honestly. And, he wedged himself in there, and if this fills his cup up, great. What I saw was rough. It was tough. I didn't like it. Hopefully tomorrow. The good news is I don't have to watch it anymore, hopefully. But you know what I do get to watch more of?
What's that?
All of the things that make tennis the best sport on earth. We'll see it on display over this weekend at Wimbledon. Thanks for watching Quick Serve.